in Podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
We're going to try this again. We'll cut this in post for sure, but my name's Ken. Welcome to Better on Draft episode. I still messed up because I didn't even remember episode 212, I believe. 213. 213 is actually.
213?
Yes, 213, because it was the not one half of 424. Hi, everybody. Thank you for telling us that our sound was broken. We appreciate it. We are live. Bill, Greg, Samantha Rowells, everyone. So we're going to we only got to Rob in the intros. I should have tested the audio beforehand, but we're in my own little studio. And by studio, I mean my work office / home. So going with Wendy, who's over here on my right. Wendy, what are you drinking over there? I hear you got something from Tavor that's very special.
I did. I'm drinking an Anchorage Brewing Lost Ghost double IPA, and I also raided my cellar and found a River Rouge limited release Saison Trois that I'm enjoying very much.
Awesome.
Saison what?
Saison Trois. So Saison 3?
Yeah.
Rob, how you doing over there?
Doing good. Still doing all right.
God damn it, man. It wouldn't be Better on Draft if I didn't fuck something up somewhere.
It happens. This stuff happens. No, it's been a good week. We've been doing the shelter thing as we're told, keeping things essential. I've been basically doing the runs and making all the grocery trips, and really just shout out to my wife Dina and the kids Shyler, Scott, and Rosalie for sitting here in this house and being able to help and weather this stuff that we're going through. It's very difficult to imagine what it would be like in a house with 3 teenage girls, but in doing that now in the reality, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. But again, as far as what I was drinking, I have the Ferndale Project coffee cider. And I was giving a quick shout out to 2 James because since I am sort of essential and work in the trucking industry, I needed to get some sanitizer for our trucks because our guys are still out there and working on them and working on diagnostics and making software. So I got to go out there to 2 James and pick up some hand sanitizer. And while I was there, I got myself a single barrel Catcher's Rye, which is hitting pretty hard right now at, what is it, 119 proof.
Speaking of booze, so I didn't realize how crazy it was, the Punchki vodka that came out here, I think last month or a month and a half ago over at DCD, and I wound up scoring like a bottle somehow without waiting in line. I found one random store that had it in distro near where my dad worked, and I don't even get a chance to try it because I just gave it to my uncle because I was like, oh, well, I can find one here. I'll find it anywhere. The answer was no.
I have a bottle.
Ooh, so when we come back, Wendy's going to bring a bottle for us to try because I just volunteered.
I don't have it here yet because we're sheltering in place. So
I said when we get back together in person.
Oh yes, I will bring it to share.
I can't drink your virtual shot here.
That's true.
But
try.
hailing from it's 5:00 somewhere, or is it 4:00 right now, Dan?
It's 4:00.
4:00.
4:00. He's in
It's
that
4:00 somewhere.
Arizona Standard Time.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there?
Got a White Russian Imperial Stout from Sunup.
All right.
And I'm also drinking a 2009 Abyss. I got in a crawler here.
It's a nice glass you got there.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I grabbed that on purpose, too.
And finally, we got Nick over here. What's going on, Nick?
I got the sun in my face because I'm facing the west, but I'm doing pretty good.
We can see that for sure.
Look, I'm not because first and foremost, I'm not in the same house I was last week.
No, really?
I'm unofficially homeless now.
So, hey, where you're at right now? Have they never heard of curtains?
Apparently
I'm at my
not.
in-laws' house.
And your in-laws have never heard of curtains.
So yeah, that
Or
didn't
he
answer the
doesn't know how to
question.
work them.
No comment.
What
There's
do
a
you?
Matt
What,
joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
are you drinking, Nick?
All right, so I got the Roque Centani.
Ah,
Yeah. And then
The
we talked about rating for cellars and beer fridges. Well, I did that, and I found this little treasure, a Smirnoff.
I was gonna say I
Ice,
recognize that
red,
can.
white, and berry.
Oh boy.
It's a seltzer.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll be having that with the Centani.
I
here
think you
right
have a
now.
different definition of cellar raid than a lot of other people.
Look, I basically took over that fridge in the basement, so it's just full of stuff from like all the parties and barbecues that we've had here. So
Well, I wound up getting carry out from Arbor Brewing. And I just had already a pint today of the Pharisees Irish Stout. Next up is the Mint Milkshake IPA from Roque. And guys, we are going to try and crack it open with
here
one of
we go.
these here.
Let's see it.
Okay.
Have you been practicing, Ken?
I have practiced a little bit. I found that some cans it works great. See, what I was doing last time is I was over torquing it. I was squeezing it too hard, and you can't. You got to finesse it. You got to be gentle. You got to be kind. Because they were making it look so easy, and obviously I realized they were, that's how easy because they were doing it. So while I'm gonna try this. I want to bring up they announced the top 50 brewing by volume in the United States for craft breweries. Beer Advocate launched it in 2019. One of the big things is that New Belgium, who was number 4, will no longer be on the list after 2019 after their sale to Kieran Beverage. We did have 2 technically Michigan breweries. We had Bell's, which was number 7, and then the group Canarchy, which was at number 8, which of course has Perrin Brewing in there, which we talked about, I think, last week, that No Rules. Do you have an update on No Rules, Robert?
They've been posting stuff throughout the entire week, if I'm not.
Yeah, as far as the release is concerned, they just did a Q&A probably about a little over 2 hours ago, about what's going to happen as far as the pickups. So as far as the ordering is concerned, all of the ordering is online, and you have to order it tomorrow, between, I believe it's between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Oh, they're gonna break
after
whatever site it is for sure.
Yeah, well, they and the guy who was doing the Q&A, he says that they are assured that the site is not going to crash and it's not going to go down. Which, it's a site, anything's possible to break. But he said that if it goes down, then he's just going to be as upset as everybody else. It's just it's just a matter of things that are going to happen. But yeah, tomorrow, between 11 and 4, people will be able to go to the site, order the beer. That is the only place you can get it. You cannot go into the pub and order the beer from them. They're just going to tell you to go straight to the site. Once that 4 o'clock time frame hits, that is it. You can't, from what I can tell, you cannot show up tomorrow or go to the site tomorrow or Sunday, or tomorrow after 4 o'clock. That's it. Pub club members will get discounts, but ultimately everybody is going to be able to essentially proxy the beer. So I'm already gearing up to pick up for some people, and as long as they order it, then and I have their confirmation number, then I can pick it up. They just want to make sure that people who have large orders, hashtag Mike Hemmon, if he shows up with his U-Haul, to basically, let them know so that they can coordinate the orders. But as far as the beers are concerned, I think most of us has already seen the list. Obviously, there's 2020. They're going to have they're going to have bottles going back to 2016. They're going to have 2017 and 2018 rum variant and Scotch variant, and then the 3 new variants for this year are mango chili, chocolate peanut butter cup, and oh, for God's sakes, I lost the third one.
I don't know what it is. You're the one that was. This is what we don't pay you for.
Help me out, Rob. What is it?
This is what you don't pay me for. Oh my goodness, what the hell was the third
Which
one?
ones did you say again?
You said-
The mango chili and the chocolate peanut butter cup.
And a coffee.
Coffee, yes, the Great Lakes coffee. Of course, that's the one I want the most. What the hell?
Yes.
We could tell.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. So pricing hasn't changed for the most part. The regular bottles are still $16.99. The variants are still $20.99 like they were the last few years. The most expensive bottle, I believe, is the 2016, which they want. I think it's $24.99. They're also selling glasses this year. So there will be no rules glassware. It's a stemless Teku glasses. And then they're selling like their Parent Reserve and the malted milk ball as well. So that's pretty much the event. There's not much of one. It's just ordering the beer online, and then you can go and pick it up. I believe they said the dates are between April 20th and May 1st that you can pick it up.
At least you don't
And-
have to wait in line. Just
Yeah.
the online in line.
Online, in line, and then, well, I mean, when you go, I mean, obviously they're still practicing social distancing, and they're going to practice that in the pub as well. So they're only letting 5 people in at a time. So as I said in the Q&A, 5 people in at a time, and everybody in line be 6 feet apart. So that's
We had
That-
it. I
that's-
went to Home Depot today because it's supposed to be like really nice this weekend. So we just bought a house late last year, and my girlfriend wants to start setting up at least the premise of her garden. So we bought like a bunch of bricks and wood and stuff, and like there was 6 feet apart, and there was only so many people that could be in the building at once, and they have like this check-in check-out system where it's like electronic. Someone walks out and they click you out, and then it tells a message to the person who's running the check-in, hey, you can come on in, or someone can come on in. And to the point where there was a couple in front of me, and they would only let one of the two in. They wouldn't let both in
Oh,
Wow.
when only one person left.
They must have literally just started doing that within the last couple days, because we were there, Tara and I were there Saturday or Sunday last week, and they weren't doing that at all at our local Home Depot.
The one in Ypsi over on Carpenter did it a week ago or so when I was there, because I went to go pick up a wheelbarrow too.
Really becoming domesticated there, Ken.
Hey, listen, if she wants to do all the landscaping, all the gardening, I don't care. I can play games, but I don't know if you guys saw, but I did manage to get the top off pretty easily.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
I saw
Ken.
that
It was
too.
very good.
The only problem is that it gets really sticky from all the beer inside of it. So you have to like wash it, and I don't know if it's dishwasher safe. I didn't get a chance to really look at it, but like right now it's pretty easy to open and close, but after a few days of unused, like it got really, really sticky. So
Some old school fashioned soap and water. That's all you gotta do.
yep. So on that list, after Canarchy, which is Perrin, Great Lakes, more local brewery, came in at 23, Three Floyds at 31, and Revolution at 40. Obviously, number 1 and number 2 are going to be Sam Adams and Yingling.
Yingling.
Yep.
Yingling.
And the big thing with Sam Adams, and I kind of want to get into it because Sam Adams partnered up with the Greg Hill Foundation, so they're giving $1,000 of free grant money to workers struggling. There are some minimum qualifications, so for those of you who are interested, especially in Michigan, as you are a qualified person because you live in the state of Michigan. Going over the states real quick, this includes your state, Dan, of Arizona, California,
What's up?
Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont. You had to be a full-time restaurant employee working 30 hours or more. This can be between multiple restaurants, so if you work 2 different restaurants at 20 hours, that's okay. You had to be a minimum of 3 months at each location, and it has to be a restaurant, bar, cafe, or nightclub, and you need to push the last 2 pay stubs to the application center, and going through all of that, you will be able to apply for $1,000 to help you during this time in need.
I mean, that is not. I mean, first, that is a lot of money to be giving out.
I mean, this
for-
is
for all
almost
those-
as much as the government's given out to
Pretty
everyone. So that's
exactly.
Pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. And I mean, it's not asking for a lot for the employees. Now, obviously, working 30 plus hours. Sometimes I don't know. It's just like I've been so far gone from working in the restaurant industry that, you know, I don't know how hours really work with restaurant employees enough to see how many that actually work 30 hours. But
I think a lot of the people who have small hour positions work multiple restaurants. They'll work an AM
Yes.
restaurant and an evening restaurant. So they'll work
Yep.
somewhere that's more lunch based. It might be like a Buffalo Wild Wings, and then dinner. They might work somewhere that's a little more local, like a local bar. And this also works again for nightclub. Um, for everything like that. Greg in the chat talks about, working in the service industry and how he's been killed by it. That's one thing that I know very, very well. Like, I see a lot of numbers that are not public in regards to what's going on with restaurants, employees, businesses, and they're talking about how up to like 30 to 33% of restaurants that existed prior to COVID-19 won't exist anymore. And those people are going to flood the market looking for jobs. There are not going to be that many people taking over restaurants. So, for probably 10% of that 33% will find a new owner or find someone who was looking to start a restaurant who has now the capability because the place is there, the equipment's probably there, they're able to start a new position. It's just so much. So that's why we want to do the show to help make you happy, make you forget about things for a little bit, and obviously not bring you down. But talk about these things. Talk about the fact that you can get $1,000 thanks to Sam Adams.
I hope they'll spend it back on beer. That's why they're doing it.
Well, there's a lot of free publicity in there too. I saw this, I believe, on Beer Advocate, and a lot of people are, Sam Adams and Dogfish Head are kind of a really good but forgotten in the craft beer fan world of beers. People talk about utopias every once in a while, but when's the last time you were writing home about something that wasn't, say, Worldwide Stout or 120 Minute? That's about it. You're not drinking Sam Adams hazy IPA. I'm assuming they have one.
They make one? I was like, what?
They do have one.
They do.
They do.
You are if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I mean, that's
Sam Adams.
Go to their R&D pub over there in Boston. I'm sure they have.
Yeah, there are.
Like that does make me want to support them.
And that's the thing. What we're seeing is that we're actually seeing a huge uptick in beer and beer sales. If you look at, say, for instance, and we'll go over the other stats, but beer sales prior to COVID-19 are technically up, but I use that term really loosely because the imports sales are down, craft beer sales are down, premium lights are down, premium regulars, so Bud Light, Budweiser, below premium, so I'm guessing that's like Bush Ice or something.
Bush Ice
is down. Cider is down, but the one thing that's up is FMB seltzers. That is the only category that is up in sales year over year for February 2020, and it's up so much that it's actually creating a positive for the beer community. So every other category is down but seltzers, and I think people are just moving from beer to seltzers. They're lighter to drink. We're a little bit more calorie conscious. I sure haven't been since I've been cooped up.
Yeah.
But I'll kind of ask you guys, what have you guys been doing to spend the time? I've been still working full time, so I've been busy as all hell. But what are you guys doing to kind of keep going? Wendy, are you still working? Because I know you were still working as of last week.
Yes, I am still on full time. In my spare time, I am doing this. I've been on the computer every single night this week with some type of social or meetup, or we played Sporkle Live Trivia online last night. So I feel like I actually see people more now than I did before the stay at home.
Well, you're seeing people like virtually, not in person.
Yeah, virtually, not in person.
Social distancing. You got to
going to those parties.
Yeah. I have a friend that posted.
Yeah.
I have a friend that posted they want to have a bonfire and we'll just stay 6 feet apart from each other. I'm like, you're not getting it.
No.
Why don't you just have them do like a screenshot of a video of a roaring fire and then everyone do like a Zoom meeting?
Yeah,
that would
bonfire.
You just run that on YouTube and you just share that screen.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your bonfire.
Yeah, or you can make like a virtual background and make it so it's like you're sitting in a chair. There's woods behind you.
Yeah, like I can use my fake green screen, like Samantha in the chat says I have. I have like a green screen behind me.
It's because everything's blinding you right now.
Yeah, I
Rob,
know.
are you're still working?
I am still working. That you can't see it behind me, but there is a good chunk of trucking uh, modules that are behind me that I'm doing a whole bunch of validation on under new software. I probably will have to run out to one of our trucks to next week and do some work out there. As what Wendy said about Sporkle Live, we are bringing Sporkle Live back. Um, a bit more seriously now because it's been kind of in testing to do trivia using Zoom and things like that. So we are actually going to be bringing trivia back and hosting it virtually. So a few of our hosts, myself included, are going to be hosting trivia games for people out there and give them a break to do something and we've got a lot of these people who have been used to going out and playing trivia and being with their friends and families doing it every week and haven't been able to do that. So, kind of looking to give them something to do and get people together and have them play. So, getting ready for that. Basically, with the fact that there is no school anymore, or at least no school in buildings anymore, that trying to make sure that the learning with the fifth, seventh, and ninth graders that are in the house to keep them engaged and make sure that they're doing that, but still having it's basically a quarantine. They're stuck in these four walls. They're trying to give them other things to do as well. So giving them exercise and letting them go out on their bikes and things like that. And do Debbie Allen Instagram dance classes in the basement. Occasionally breaking out Rock Band and having them play Bulls on Parade. So there's a few things that can be done and that we'll just continue to do and hell, it's just beginning of April. We got at least 4 weeks to go.
At least.
I've been I've been riding my bike a bunch lately. Got it tuned up right before like the full like stay at home notice. So I've been traveling around Ypsilanti. I actually accidentally made a wrong turn and went in the complete opposite direction of where I needed to go. So I had an extra long ride.
Are you talking motorcycle or
No,
what are you riding?
bicycle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's the thing
Gotcha.
that you use to pedal, and there's a
Yeah.
gear between two
Yeah,
wheels.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
So I actually had I went the wrong way, so it was like I went like 2 miles the wrong way, and I'm like, God damn it! Like I was supposed to be only supposed to be riding for 20-25 minutes, turns into like a 45-minute ride because I have to.
I had a hike that went that way once.
Yeah, you track the wrong way, and then I look at the map and I'm like, all right, well I can turn up here. Well, that's great until I realize that it's a dirt road, like halfway through. So I'm like, all right, well do I turn back or do I just brave through the dirt road or go back again the wrong way?
Ugh.
Yeah, it was definitely not a fun ride to say the least. But I've been getting out there, trying to get out once a day, especially because it's been gorgeous here in Michigan. The weather has been
It's been
nice.
nice.
Especially
It
the
has
last
been.
few days.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Dan. Dan, what's the weather like over in Arizona?
It's
80.
a chilly 85 degrees and sunny
Oh,
right
the
now.
heck with you, dude.
Beautiful out. I finally got to go run out and go to the beer store before I came on here. It was nice to get out because we're losing the best part of the year right now. You can't, everything's closed. You can't really go anywhere. It's going to be 110 degrees,
I was gonna say
7 weeks from now. So we're just losing out on it.
yeah, there's nothing less fun than like the last time I was out to my dad's house out there, and I was going to the airport and got to the airport at 6:30, and it was already 94 degrees. And I said, "Fuck this."
Oh yeah, it's
Wow.
not the heat during the day that kills you. I always tell everyone it's the fact it doesn't cool down at night. That it's 2 a.m. and it's 98 degrees outside. So
Mhm.
Getting
it
a
really wears on you.
Getting a little Nick Lachey out there.
There's a joke.
Oh,
I was waiting for it. I was waiting
Didn't even
for
know
it.
what I was saying.
Well, Greg Feltner in the chat wants to know, Dan, what do you think of Hangar 24?
The brewery?
That's what I'm guessing.
I'm not even. I think it's a brewery. I've never been there, so I can't say too much about it.
He thinks it's amazing, Greg. One of the best breweries he's never
Oh.
been to.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard of it.
I feel like it's not close to here though. If it is, let's find out. I gotta look this up.
Dan's gonna look it up. Nick, what have you been doing to pass the time?
Well, I'm essential. I'm still working. As a matter of fact, I actually worked overtime last night because we had some issues. But last Saturday we did the Jackbox on Zoom. I actually paid for a Zoom account.
Oh, look at you, Nick.
I know. I got all this extra money because I'm not spending it right now. The last couple days, it's just been moving stuff into a storage pod and moving stuff here at my in-laws' house, and that's been pretty much been the majority of this week at least. Outside of that, it's outside of going outside, it's business as normal, just not going out as much. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely check my bank accounts and stuff. I was looking at my credit card statement. I'm like, damn, why do I have such a large credit card statement still for the last like week and a half? Then I forgot that I went and spent $250 at a liquor store and spent to get my bike tuned up and everything like that. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm still spending money. Greg says it's in Lake Havasu, Dan.
Yeah, I just found that too. Not even remotely close to Phoenix. It's closer to Vegas than anything.
Okay, we only said Arizona when we were talking.
Yeah,
so
that's
he might
true.
They didn't say
That's
what
true.
part of Arizona.
State adjacent.
Close enough.
drive
Close.
drive past it on the way to Vegas when you're going to Vegas, Dan.
If I hang a left instead of a right, I would. But yeah,
All right.
Oh,
Well,
goodness.
what we're seeing a lot of is that people are thinking outside the box when they are making sales. They are trying to do everything that they can, even with the laws and legalities that are outside of their jurisdiction. So, Massachusetts is now allowing to-go sales for restaurants, beer and wine for off-premise. There is a max, though, for these sealed containers, 192 ounces of beer, so 3 growlers, or 1.5 liters of wine, which is 2 bottles. Thinking about your last trip to the liquor store, did you buy more than that?
yep.
How much did you buy, Dan?
That was easy.
What do I got here? I got 3 crawlers and 3 6-packs. I think that adds up to more. Maybe not. Maybe my head math is bad.
What are
well-
those crawlers good for? Like what? A couple weeks?
Crawlers is
Crawler?
half. So crawlers are pretty good for a while because it's all based on when you. Well, I mean, the goal is to drink it the second you open it.
Yeah.
So it also depends on how they can it too.
It'd be at 204 ounces I bought. So yeah, just over.
Dan, you'd be illegal in the state of Massachusetts.
Breaking the law. Now, is that now you were saying off premise? Is that for restaurants? I can walk into a beer store and buy
It says
Whatever I want.
grocery stores and restaurants. So
grocery stores. Wow.
curbside delivery is available, but obviously not the best when. That's for Texas. Excuse me. Alcohol sales allowed by restaurants. So this is straight from restaurants. This isn't even from grocery stores because they have in Massachusetts Drizzly. So Drizzly is a Boston-based company, if I'm not mistaken. So they have the access to more than that, but this is straight from a restaurant, which, liquor stores are probably doing all right now, just because people are buying more for at-home consumption as opposed to restaurant consumption. But like the restaurants themselves, they're the ones that are doing their best to stay afloat. I know a lot of them are doing really anything that they can to stay afloat. Some of them are making like pre-made produce boxes, like Beyond Juice. I think they were selling like a charcuterie board recently, which Beyond Juice is a local juice restaurant chain type thing, health restaurant. So when you're doing your best, if you can, obviously support restaurants. Make sure you tip, especially delivery drivers, etc. These are the guys that are struggling the most. Samantha go on, Dan.
Oh, let me ask you while we're on this subject, if you guys are seeing this out here, because it's turned into a big phenomenon here. Restaurants are actually turning into pop-up grocery stores.
Yep.
As of
Yep.
now,
Yeah.
quite a bit. Except they're overpricing everything, so it's not really working out, at least out here.
Uh,
I just wonder if that was everywhere.
the
Actually,
two things
I haven't seen that yet.
I have, but I also deal with restaurants on a daily basis, so my thought and theory is probably a little more intuitive just because I'm in the industry itself. But with that, like people are doing groceries because they're trying to sell things that they have that might be going bad here soon. And I saw one where they were selling gift not gift cards, but gift meals. So you pay a flat fee. It's a non-taxed fee, and then that money goes to helping, feed healthcare workers, people who need it. Whether you're, I saw one restaurant that it's helping their own employees by feeding their own employees. Doing everything that they can because there's only so much. The one thing that restaurants and a lot of people don't understand is that these people, 98% of restaurants don't have the money to just, you know, all that
Power
money.
through this.
Yeah, all that money is they're not, even the one. Oops, bless you,
Bless you.
whoever. Uh,
They said bless you because they heard you.
we have these restaurants, even the ones that overprice things, like they don't have that much money. They're not like swimming in money. They have enough money to kind of like go to the next spot because they're spending all their money on random other things like cloth
Right.
napkins or glassware or all the overhead that you have and the things that they still have to pay for. They still have to pay for their internet and their electricity and their water and their gas, and they're not bringing in that kind of money. So
I think with what's going on, it's forcing restaurants, breweries, distilleries, what have you, to be very creative in how to try and stay afloat through what's going on right now. Like just the other day, I saw Blake Cidery. They're selling like a 12 pack and like one of those big ass soft pretzels. You go to the pub out there in Armada, you get a 12 pack and a big huge like pub pretzel for like $20 or something like that. So and that's a takeout. So we're seeing more of that happening. Being creative with how they can still try and get through this.
well, speaking of Blake's, we actually just had, and I'll go back to you in a second, Rob. We just had our March Draftness Final Four, and
Yes.
I tell you what, when I message all the breweries and stuff, giving them how things happen and suggestions and stuff, one of the things I post is that hey, team up with another brewery, do that whole, and you guys might remember the Brandon Inge to the MLB All Star game. Where
Yep.
it was the
Yeah.
Detroit 97 won the ticket and the Philly sports affiliate, like everyone was, because you voted one AL, one NL, so you got two cities together to vote for Brandon Inge and someone from the Phillies, and that's how Brandon Inge hit 0 home runs in the home run derby. In fact, you could even say that I have as many home runs as Brandon Inge does in the
That's
home
true.
run derby.
That's true.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think they planned it. I didn't necessarily see a lot of things, but their fans more so were talking about, hey, vote for Baffin, vote, when you look at the shares, and I could see people sharing, voting for Copper Hop and voting for Baffin. So the finals is going to be a St. Clair Shores City only competition.
Rob's like, go, come on.
Oh,
Now-
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what,
Who knew?
they got 4 breweries in
Yeah,
that
for
city
real.
now. So, it's going to happen. We don't know when the party is going to be because obviously it's going to be a minute until we're back into breweries. But until then, obviously, you guys voting will start tomorrow at noon. That's April 4th and run until April 10th at noon. And at that point, we will announce a winner on the show here. And we will buy a keg of beer. There's also 2 people in the running to win the $100 gift card, because we're giving away a $100 gift card for the bracket pick'em. That's what we did. We did a bracket pick'em via challenge. So one person picked Copper Hop, one person picked Baffin. So those are the top 2 people. Whoever wins that one is going to win the actual full
Wow.
competition.
You know what's funny? If I would have gotten that bracket pick 'em, these are the ones I would have picked because I told you this was coming when you set this up. At least with Baffin, I can't believe anyone else didn't see it.
Well, we saw Brewery 424 do really well. They lost to Austin Brothers, or excuse me, Blake's Brewing here in the Elite 8. And they're last year's champion. Obviously, because Baffin was the winner of a 24 team bracket, and we retired them. I was like, well, now we're at 64. Let's just, kind of go through. We changed our voting. It's not the like system anymore. It's a simple poll, 1v1. So you don't have to explain 1,000 times how to vote. And we were like, let's bring you back. Now, if Baffin wins again, I'm probably gonna sit them in retirement. Fully never again. It's kind of like how Rocky came back in the newer Rocky movies and fought the Floyd Mayweather esque character.
I was gonna say, you talking about Creed? I mean,
No,
I don't
no,
think
no.
he fought anyone in the.
No, the one that was just called Rocky.
Oh
where
yeah, like six, the
yeah,
sixth
they
one.
they did like the EA boxing, and they did a fake
Yeah, that's
match
right.
between Rocky and then we'll
the
call him
Mayweather guy.
yeah, and he
I mean,
lost to
this point,
Mayweather.
at this point, yeah, I mean, if they do, it might as well just be like Jordan, put up the 23 banner and the 45 banner, and just call it a day. Because I mean, there just is no stopping Baffin when it comes to being in these brackets, and now we've got ourselves.
You know
the
what's
hot
funny
mess
is
in
that
SES.
they were talking about this was a few years ago how Sherwood would be beating them in all of these brackets all the time when they first started, and they'd be in like these random city brackets or Macomb County brackets, and every single bracket they were in, Sherwood would beat them to the point where they actually paid for an ad in the first bracket challenge just to make sure that they could win. And here we are now. Guys, it is 7:40. That means we are going to take our first break. We will be right back with the Better on Draft podcast. And we are back, Better on Draft podcast 213. This is segment 2. Those of you who are obviously with me know that I fucked up again because I forgot to turn the mic. I forgot to turn the mic on my headset because it was hearing the volume of the music, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that to our fans where they could hear the music twice. But that was Brother Son of the Ferndale set. We appreciate them letting us use their music in all of our breaks when we do use them. With that, segment 2, we did have a few people in the chat talking about some random things. Samantha Robles talked about how she had a growler leak everywhere in her car last Friday.
Oh, that sucks.
They were forced to drink it that night. Obviously, yeah, you don't want to let that go flat. Greg, obviously, as we were talking about, Baffin says Mango Unchained is real. Yes, it is. We drink it. I've tasted it before.
It's a beer. It's a real beer.
So if you guys actually check out the brackets, you can go to Challonge, CHALLONGE.com /March Draftness 2020. You'll be able to see the predictions, the two predictions that are going to be going up against each other. You have Cop on Top, who had predicted, if I'm in the right bracket, nope, that's the other one.
Did you say Cop on Top?
Cop on Top. They had predicted a Baffin Copper Hop finals. They actually predicted Copper Hop versus Blake's going up against, and then they predicted Baffin versus Mitten Brewing, which Mitten did lose a little while ago.
So they lost early, didn't they?
Not too early. They lost, I think, to Oddside in the
the round before or 2 rounds ago.
This guy right here, who was guy in my it's Summers bracket. Summers bracket also had Baffin versus Copper Hop, and they had Copper Hop Snowbelt, who lost, I think, in the first round to Tapestry, as well as Oddside and Baffin. They actually had a pretty good Elite 8-2, only losing Batch Brewing, who I believe won well, was the winner, who lost to Baffin, and then obviously Snowbelt, who lost to Tapestry. Then yeah, there was a lot of losing in that line of. So the winner, and I think what I'm gonna do, because fuck it, I can. We are saving a little bit of money not being in studio, so let's put that back into the community. So I am actually going to give the person with the most picks a gift card to their brewery of choice.
Look at that.
Not as much as the $100 one, because they didn't win. So I can't, this is a consolation prize. So the person that's going to be winning that, who has already won it, the bracket is called IPPEE A's, AAAYYYYS. So we'll be reaching out to you as a winner. You'll be able to choose from one of the 64 breweries a gift card, and we will simply buy the gift card. If they only do on-site gift cards, paper gift cards, something like that, we'll just throw your name on it. You'll be able to pick it up whenever you want. So you'll be able to buy some beers on us.
Paper gift cards. What year is this?
Dan, I still go to places that do not even have they have a register that looks like it was from your time.
Oh boy. They got a crank phone too. You got to call the operator to call
do
anybody.
a little spin dial.
hmm
Uh,
Oh no, even before that, but
Doesn't know
not the
what you're
rotary.
talking about, the crank phone.
Yeah, he has no idea.
Oh no. Well, you're dating yourself. That's all I care about.
I was gonna say there was a company truck that was in the neighborhood not too long ago, and it still had one of the old stickers on it that said like, call Charleston 619. I'm like, what the hell?
What year is this?
You guys have
Where's
been
the
in business
time
for
machine?
you've been along for a long time.
Now, we've been talking about what you guys have been doing to pass your time, and one of the things I wanted to bring up, because obviously, the big thing that's been going on is Tiger King. Have you guys seen this Tiger King thing on
Ugh.
Netflix yet?
I
Not
have
yet.
not.
I've been seeing every meme though.
Wow,
Ozark took over for me. I wasn't gonna stop watching that.
that's
Watch some
that's
bullshit.
that's fair. Tiger King is amazing. It also has our favorite driving billboard in Vegas, Dan.
Oh, does it? The
Uh,
6969696.
Yes, yes. If you need a good time, you're just gonna call 6969696. So well, obviously I don't want to spoil it about Tiger King. So there's plenty to watch. Have you guys been? Dan, you mentioned you're watching Ozark season 3. Nick, have you been watching anything?
Yeah, we Tara and I have been watching You, which is also a series on Netflix.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's I
That's
was a little skeptical at first after the first episode, like as we were watching the first episode, but we just got hooked.
Yeah, I don't say that because of whether it's good or bad or not. I just know that Dina has been watching that as well, and she has been uh somewhat infatuated with it. I think she enjoys it. She enjoys it.
It's a pretty good show. I'm pretty impressed with it. We'll just
What
say
about
Yeah.
that.
what about you, Wendy? Are you watching anything to kill the time?
So I don't actually watch a whole lot of TV. I actually, right before the stay-at-home order, kind of had an idea that it was coming. So I went and got a DVD player so that I could watch Netflix on my TV at home.
There
Remember,
you
I live
go.
with my grandma. And so we are watching The Crown right now because it's something we can watch together and she doesn't say, that's a crappy show.
She takes a costume drama from like
So,
And I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with hearing John Lithgow with a British
and
accent.
and I really could not watch another Western movie
He
ever
does.
or TV show when I
You-
can differentiate between the different Western TV shows.
your grandma watches westerns.
Yes.
Oh, that's
mean-
amazing.
Yes, when I can differentiate between the different Western shows from the 1950s, I've been watching too many.
Like Gunsmoke westerns,
Gunsmoke and some
That's
Bonanza.
what I was saying.
Gunsmoke.
Bonanza.
John Wayne's in every
Bonanza.
movie.
John
No,
Wayne.
I just realized Nick's wearing sunglasses, by the way, and this is great.
Well, I
You
can
guys,
do that too.
you guys can
We just-
obviously
There you
see
go, Dan.
see us live every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on Better on Draft on Facebook. Facebook.com/BetterOnDrive/live actually takes you right to our live page. Rob, what are you doing during this time? Are you reading? I saw you were playing guitar, learning guitar.
Yes, because there's a lot of free stuff that is out there. So I am back to doing what I should have been doing when I got this guitar. I don't know, like 6 years ago, when I decided to buy Rocksmith for my PlayStation. That I was going to learn guitar, and never really touched it. So, here we are, just sitting at home, and there was a deal that was going on where it was for Fender Play that you got to be on Fender Play for 3 months for free and learn guitar. So here I am with my Schecter
Nice.
Damien 6, just learning guitar. And right now took a day off yesterday because hands are definitely sore from trying to strum G, C, and D chords. But I'm going to get back to it tonight. So I've
How
been
is
doing that.
Rocksmith teaching you? Because I was in some random rabbit hole on YouTube, and there is a YouTube guitar player called The Do, which is Dooo, I think. And he was playing Rocksmith, and he's like really good at guitar, and like trying to play Rocksmith, and just like there was lag based on the guitar and his strum. How do you see it there?
I mean, from playing the guitar to being in front of the game, there's really no lag when you're doing it, and it does a pretty good job of. I mean, if you have to calibrate that, it'll calibrate pretty well with the game. But I've seen, and when I used to play it, religiously, that I was being able to play the songs without having the game in front of me and learning the notes, learning the chords. There's a lot of mini games that are in there that teach you, um, sliding down the fretboard, and there's one game in there that's kind of like House of the Dead, where you're going around kind of on a rail system and zombies pop up. In order to kill or shoot the zombies, you have to strum a certain chord. And it like the stuff that they teach in there, the games that they have in there are pretty good, other than just the songs themselves. So I mean, it does a pretty good job, I guess, from because my older brother Brian, he's been playing guitar for I think he's been playing for almost 30 years now. And one of the things that he was always worried about with me playing the game is that it didn't teach music theory, and it really doesn't. So that's like a real key component, because without music theory, you don't really understand how you can go from a G to a C to a D, and go to these chords and actually make music that makes sense. But the game itself, like if you play it a lot, you'll get to learn a lot from it. You just don't learn everything. But yeah, like I said, I've been doing that. As far as TV shows, Dean and I have finally got back to watching The Wire, which still fight me. I don't give a fuck. Greatest damn TV show ever made. The Wire is amazing, and I absolutely love it. So we've been doing that. There's all the other free stuff that's out there for anybody who doesn't know about it and hasn't signed up for it. SiriusXM app you can use on your phone and your computer is free until May 15th.
So
CBS is
just
streaming for
I
live
think
for
I
free.
think if you had a canceled Sirius and you went and re-upped it, you do need a credit card. But I got 3 months for $0.
Oh,
There
did
you
you
go.
really?
Yeah.
Might have to call them and
It's-
do that.
So
Yeah.
I just did it online. I signed into my Sirius account and I got 3 months for free because I hit a link that Rob shared, which I'll share, and I'll share it in the show notes too.
Mhm.
And it just said, "Oh, you get 3 months," and I'm like, "Well, that's weird." And I'm thinking maybe 3 months for $18 or whatever, where they do like their
Mhm.
$6 a month. No, it says so. I have like a little thing on my calendar that says "cancel Sirius" because I don't like I got it, and I still need to make sure I cancel. I'm still paying for something that I need to cancel called Luminary Podcasts, which if you've never heard of Luminary, how I found it is that they did a full-on recap of Woodstock 99.
Oh, really?
Wait, what?
Mm.
So if it, I mean, you guys remember, you guys are all a lot of music fans, how like there was riots and like
They were like charging bottles of water, at least at the time, in 1999 prices, like $10 a bottle or something.
Yeah,
That's
they-
every festival though.
But this
this
was like
was-
1999 though. This is 20 something years ago.
yeah, this was they were charging a lot of money for water to the point where they were rioting. There was a whole thing where like they were blaming Limp Bizkit at the time, and they had
Oh,
been
I blame them too. They're
They-
probably at fault.
they had been off stage for like a day and a half.
Weren't
Hey,
they
so-
blaming like Metallica or something? Like that
Red
as
Hot
well?
Chili Peppers got a lot
Chili
of blame
Peppers?
too. Yep.
What
So
was water at the fire festival? I wonder how much that cost.
I don't know. I got
As much as that sandwich.
But if you actually were at the fire festival, message us in chat. Tell us how much it costs.
I got a
Uh.
I got really sad because one of my bucket list groups is touring in the US for one of the first times in God knows how long. And by touring, they were playing one show in Detroit in May, and Movement just got postponed to September, so who knows what the lineup's
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
in September.
Oh,
Ouch.
jeez.
You know,
Um,
you talk about Limp Bizkit and Korn and
The new metal.
Metallica. Yeah, all those bands getting blamed for what happened at Woodstock.
Yeah.
Well, how come Insane Clown Posse never got blamed? Because they played that Woodstock.
Because
that year,
nobody
too.
knows who they are. I mean, it's a bunch of juggalos who listen to those guys.
And,
But
and
as
plus,
far
they
as I was
drank
concerned,
Fago
the
and
crowd
burners. They
was
were immune.
pretty packed when they did their set. If I'm not
I mean,
mistaken.
in regards to like the what's the gathering of the Juggalos and stuff, they get
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
Gathering of the
people to go to
Juggalos,
that
yeah.
festival. So
They get
I-
a lot of people to go, and they kind of get along when they're there. So
Yeah, they don't
kinda scary.
fuck around for sure
Yeah.
when they do their show.
Marketing geniuses. That's what
I
they are.
I just remember seeing it on
Truthfully.
Workaholics for the first time.
Oh, geez.
And then I went into a rabbit hole about like everything that is Gathering of the Juggalos, because that's what happens when I learn about something new. Is I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my God.
by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but I was able to get the second cap off, no problem. The can
Nice.
is near perfect,
2 for-
flawless.
2 for 2.
Nice.
The Poet Brunch Stout.
Yeah,
Nice.
I drank a lot of one-offs last week, so I have the same one-offs this week for sure. So in our
That's it.
I
chat,
enjoyed it.
yeah, I like it too. Shauna is saying that she's clearing off her DVR, trying to get through everything. A lot of people, or some people, are talking about Tiger King, Love Is Blind. I know
Love is
Future.
Blind is good.
Future.
No, it's not. Tara and I watched the first 30 minutes of that show. He
It's
quit.
decent.
One of
It's
them-
decent.
No, it's not.
I think
It
one of the
is.
girls is from Michigan, and they're still together and married.
Oh, so the social experiment worked?
I think they mentioned like Forbes. So we talked about it at work one day, and I had to Wikipedia everything to figure out what the hell was going on to stay on top of things, because I definitely have not seen it yet. I've actually been
Hard
going.
pass.
So my girlfriend has never seen any of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh.
And so we have been going through the Fast and the Furious movies. We went through the first 3 so far. And what was so funny is that as I was learning about, like, I was looking up 3 and stuff and just trying to figure out some stuff, I saw that Sean, played by Luke Bryan?
Lucas.
Lucas Bryan? I don't know.
I know it's from Tokyo Drift, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
he's coming up in the Fast 9. So he was in another one as a brief cameo. And then I realized that Bow Wow's character,
Oh no.
Twinkie, is going to be in it too.
Oh boy.
And so as I was learning this, it was so funny is that somebody had talked to him on the green or the red carpet about being in another one of the Fast and the Furious movies, and he didn't even know he was in it, because it was just a scene from Tokyo Drift that they put onto another movie. So it was definitely, so we're going through that. She's actually going through Lost in Space right now, season 2.
Oh, I still got to finish season 1.
I-
I forgot about that.
I started Lock and Key myself, but I really couldn't get into it, so I'm going to try again in a little bit. But we've been watching October Faction, which has been a lot of fun.
What about Better Call Saul? Anyone else keeping up with that?
You know, I never really liked it.
Yeah,
Really?
after Breaking Bad, I haven't even tried it.
Oh, it's worth trying. It's probably as good, if not better, as it gets.
You know
later into the
what's crazy
seasons.
is that I watched a season and a half, didn't like it, and stepped out. But that was the same thing that happened with Breaking Bad, and it was me, Nick, and Dan's mutual friend Shotgun. She told me, "Hey, you gotta watch this." So I wound up going through it, and she's like, "Just get through season 2 and you'll like it." And I got through season 2, and I love Breaking Bad. Watched the season finale live. You know, that was back when you watched season finales.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
You didn't just like run through it.
Greg Feltner says, "Man in the High Castle, Amazon Prime." He just finished.
Good
the second
show.
season.
Very
Another one to
Good
finish.
show.
yeah.
And actually, one other thing that I have been watching, and for those of us that are sports fans that do not have any live sports, apparently other than ESPN3 showing pickleball last week, which was really weird to show them live sports,
Hell
but it was
yeah.
interesting to watch. But other sports, for those who definitely need that football fix, NFL Game Pass is free until May 31st. And when you go in there, they have every single NFL game going back to the beginning of the 2009 season.
Jesus.
So they have, yeah, I've been watching Steeler games like you wouldn't believe.
Of course you would.
Of course I would.
You know what's good is that there are some good Lions games, but a lot of them are because like the mic'd up games with Matt Stafford. If
Hmm.
you've never watched, and I tell everyone all the time, and I know we're kind of getting into a little sports theory here. If you ever want to like think about how tough Matt Stafford is, watch that Browns game.
The Browns game,
Yes.
The
yes,
one where
that
he
one.
broke
Yeah.
his arm or
Yeah, he
whatever.
Yeah, it was his
separated his
shoulder.
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 He
That's
got
what it was.
he got removed from the game. The Browns called a timeout, which is considered because if you get carted off or walked off the field, you can't go in the next play.
Yep.
But they called a timeout, which means that he could go into the next play because the next play was technically a timeout. And he wound up throwing a game-winning touchdown with a
And then he was
separated shoulder,
Done
and he
for
was
the season.
Yep.
Yeah, he was done for the season after that.
well.
Yeah,
He got the 0-16, the first win after the 0-16. I think that was the second or the third win. I mean, we're talking like week 11 at that time, so
Yeah,
it didn't
no,
really
they
matter.
went like they went like 2-14 or 3-13, something like that year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there was a lot more needed than just a quarterback.
Yeah.
But
But
there's
that game, that going through that whole game, and it is like you said, Ken, about him being mic'd up because after he goes back in and throws that touchdown, you hear him going off the field and like holding that arm, and he's just saying, "It's out, it's dislocated, it's out,"
and
and just like for it
there
was
was that
amazing.
one game that he's mic'd up to against Dallas. Remember that game, Nicholas? The
Uh-oh.
game
We won't
against
talk about that one.
Dallas. I
The
remember.
playoff game?
No, this was
this
the regular season game where we scored like 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes.
and we weren't there to see the
And
end
we
of
weren't there to see it. We went back. Mind you, it was nice because Mario's, and I will 100% give Mario's credit for this. We get to Mario's because they were doing a free shuttle, $10 all you can drink Oberon. And mind you, this is September, October, so the Oberon's a little aged, but it's all you can drink. So let's go. We get back, and I jokingly asked the waitress, I'm like, "Hey, is that free Oberon still available for us?"
it.
And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Okay." Start hammering Oberons again because why not? So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
I missed that place. I haven't been to Mario's in forever. It's been a long time.
I've been doing books on tape recently too. I started a new one, which is a little more Michigan centric. I know a lot of people who may watch CNN may know who this guy is, but
Like
his name's
actual tapes.
I mean it's at Audible.
Okay.
Audible.
Just checking.
He's got a tape player
He's
sitting
got the
right next
cassette
to
player.
him right
He's got
now.
his
Yeah.
Walkman.
I
Is
don't
this the
know.
'90s?
Maybe
I-
it's retro.
So
It's
audio books, we'll say. So Abdul El Sayed did a book about his time doing running for the governor in Michigan. And
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it talks a lot. He also does America Dissected, which is another good podcast. So it talks a lot about the healthcare system in Michigan from a healthcare person because he is a doctor. He was like a huge doctor in Detroit. So definitely well worth the check out. At least the podcast. Obviously, I don't want you to go spend money on a book if you don't have money to spend it on. We have a lot of people talking right now. What's your guys' current drink? What are you guys drinking right now? Obviously, we saw Poet Brunch
Guinness.
Stout. Guinness. Now I'm a little jealous.
I have switched off. This is one that is courtesy of Tavor. It is the from Parish Brewing, the Bourbon Barrel Imperial Reserve, which is their basically a bourbon barrel imperial stout.
So-
they said you glass that time.
Oh, they send glass, they send cans. It's like whatever, like basically anything that
okay.
they send. I mean, anything that shows up. Like, actually today was very interesting. And by the way, shameless plug. Promo code Robert for those who are joining new onto Tavor,
Yeah.
and that will give
Use
you
it,
a
it
$10
works.
$10 credit for the first $25 that you spend. But interesting enough, the thing that showed up in Devore today was Maine Beer Company's lunch, which popped in
Oh.
there. So yeah, it showed up and it showed that it was then gone because people really
Yes.
jumped on that sucker. And
Here today, gone tomorrow.
here today, gone tomorrow. There'll be some interesting. Like I said, I always kind of harp on them because of how much Anchorage shows up. Although, truth be told, Endless Ending is probably that might be top 5 barley wine I've ever had. But for the other stuff that actually shows up, like the stuff from Parish with Ghost in the Machine, and, Maine Beer Company's lunch, There was the Perennials coffee variant of Abraxas showed up last week,
I'm
and
super excited because Bearded Irish showed up, and I've been wanting to try
Mhm.
them for so long.
Do you guys
So
not have Parish out there?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
we don't get it out here,
I didn't realize that.
and then one of my favorite Ohio breweries with Listerman showed up. Probably about
Listerines?
that was that was another
Listerman.
one that it came through for me, and I saw it come through,
Mhm.
and I was doing other stuff, and literally 13 minutes later, I went and checked it so that I could put it in my box, and
And
I was already waitlisted. I
waitlisted.
was
Yeah, it
so
was,
bummed because Listerman's is fantastic.
yeah, and it was their Shamrock Shake, which was an Irish cream stout.
God.
And yeah, it's like I said, the stuff that pops up in there, there and again, like I said, I always harp on them for so much Anchorage that shows up, and I know Ken would hate it because there's always so many IPAs that show up because it
There's
is
a lot of
ridiculous
IPAs.
how many IPAs show up. But Ken will definitely be happy because there is one that I did pick up specifically with him in mind. Is
Is it an
is
alt
an
beer?
It is an Alt Brune that is from
Oh,
Jester
boy.
Oh, what?
Oh boy.
From where?
from Jester King,
An
Oh.
alt brune or an ode brune?
an Old
An
Brune.
Ode Brew.
Okay.
Yes.
Just as good. Ken's excited.
I mean, I like ode brunes too, but I thought you said alt brune, and I'm like,
I
what the
did too.
fuck is an alt brune?
It's a new beer.
It's a brand new beer.
So real quick,
just made it up.
Dan, what are you drinking?
I've been drinking this Oak Creek Nut Brown. I just finished that and still working on this 2009 Abyss.
Isn't that what you brought to us or brought to me in Vegas?
You remember, yeah, we drank this walking through the parking lot, I think at Harrah's or Flamingo or something. We parked the car, cracked some bottles, and
Drink off the
walked.
Flamingo's pool.
Right
So
after I tried to destroy my car.
in the
What?
I dropped the clutch in reverse and
Reverse.
hit a pole that we were backing into a parking spot.
and he was sober at this time too, guys.
Yeah, I
He was
sober,
sober.
so no damage though. It's still good.
From the
Oh
chat,
my.
guys, you can join us facebook.com/better on draft/live or just better on draft. People that are talking in the chat, Samantha says she picked up a 4-pack of Orange Whip today. We've got, as I'm kind of going through, Bill Carney, our map extraordinaire, is saying drinking Short's Evil Urges. Samantha
That's a good
is
one.
drinking the Orange Whip and then moving to PBR. And
Hell yeah.
talked about
Hell
doing Imperfect Foods next week. I don't know what Imperfect Foods is.
Tara and I
It's
did that for about a
fantastic.
month. Yeah.
What is it?
They
Go ahead-
send
go ahead,
you
Wendy.
ugly fruits and vegetables.
Ugly fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, they send you the ones that like grocery stores would turn down.
Gotcha.
So it's perfectly good food. It just doesn't look pretty.
So they have that's what we the imperfect cigar lines when nobody. So if you were a cigar smoker, it's actually something where you can get Rocky Patel cigars, you can get like solid good Cohibas, Fonseca, Romeo and Juliet, all of these cigars, but they will not put their ring on it because it is not up to their standards. So
Really?
it could be something really weird, something really different. But yeah, like imperfect cigars are probably some of the best cigars out there. You know, when you're looking for the right prices. Like for me, like I just shop at Cigars International, which then I don't have to pay the Michigan cigar taxes or tobacco
Are these
taxes.
the fancy cigars, like they're still hand rolling them, or
Yeah, they're still hand rolling them. We actually met a hand roller over at Parent No Rules Day. They were
Last year.
actually, they were rolling
Oh.
live cigars
Oh my
at
God, that was
Parent
such
for
a
you
good
to
cigar.
smoke. That was a very good cigar.
That was a very good cigar.
I trying to go through because the chat's kind of going through. We appreciate you joining in the chat,
Keep it
giving us exactly. Keep it
Yeah.
coming. One of the things, and this is interesting before we take a break, and I wanted to mention because it kind of blew my mind. So Corona. One has stopped beer production in Mexico because the government has considered beer production as not essential. So again, I repeat, Corona has stopped beer production in Mexico. Therefore, Grupo Modelo, the people who own them, Constellation Brands, like they're still brewing other states, and they're still brewing that beer, just not in Mexico.
What about Cerveza Cancun? Are they still?
No, they're considered non-essential.
Too bad.
Our boy
It's actually good beer.
Brandon Williams over there.
Yeah.
So they actually are seeing, and get this, an 8.9% increase in sales in quarter 1.
I mean,
So-
I think people are actually finally seeing that the beer has nothing to do with the damn virus. As much as they've been trying to say that, hey, we have nothing to do with this, that hey, enjoy the damn beer. We're not going to give you the damn virus.
And now people think it's funny to post pictures drinking the beer
Yeah, that too.
while they're stuck at home.
I saw one which it's definitely something that I feel like I would have done in the late 2000s. And what these guys did is that they went to and I feel like I should have done this at my Troy house, at my parents' house. They put cans of beer and they taped them to the garage door. And then when the garage door opened, and it wasn't one of those like flat opens, it kind of like slowly curls open. The beer would start pouring, and they were trying to drink it as it poured, and I fucking died.
I can't believe we never did that.
Exactly, like that's the thing, is I cannot believe, and we've done things from.
I think we still should. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, my garage technically does it, so we could definitely do it here in my apartment. We could do it before the summer beer fest if it still happens.
Yeah, there you go.
We can pregame by doing that in my garage, and then take the bus to. I'm
The
excited.
bus.
Wait, take the bus.
The I don't know the name of the Ipsy Arbor bus, but it's whatever the
Does it
bus
stop
is.
in front of your house?
It stops right in front of my neighborhood,
Oh,
Oh,
and,
wow.
and it stops right in front of the beer festival.
I thought it was the ride that drove out there. Was that just Ann Arbor?
That might be just Ann Arbor. I don't know for sure. Again,
No,
you're
I think
talking you're talking to the guy who
into parts of Ipsy.
you're talking to the guy who turned the wrong way in Ipsy on a bike and went 2 miles the wrong way. So
Well, you're lucky that you didn't end up like in the middle of the country, because there's parts of Ipsy that
He-
are.
I
he
mean,
lives in the middle of the
rural.
country.
I mean, at that
pretty
point,
rough,
I would have
yeah.
just called my girlfriend to come pick me up with her bike because she's got an SUV. So it is 8:20, which means we are going to take our second and final break. Again, our breaks are brought to you by the Ferndale Set. Obviously, I am attempting. How did I close? I tell you what, guys, I need to figure out a better way to do this because I'm fucking shit up. But we will be right back with the Better on
job.
Draft podcast. And we are back to 13 Better on Draft podcast. Having a lot of fun for sure, to say the least. There we go. Just trying to get the video good to go. Appreciate you all joining us. Of course, you can join us every single Friday at betterondraft.com, or excuse me, facebook.com/betterondraft/live. It is segment 3 now. Guys, I do have a dented can. Now, it might be hard to see, but this line is a straight line right here. So we are going to try top cap with this dented can. As we kind of go over and see what everyone is drinking for segment 3. What are you all drinking with segment 3?
Considering that this thing is a bomber, I am still going through the Parish Bourbon Barrel Imperial Reserve. But should I actually get through that, I think that the next thing that I'm going to have is going back to Ferndale Project, and I'm deciding whether or not I'm going with one of their sours, being the Lover's Quarrel, or going with one of their New England IPAs and the Seeing Green. So I guess actually I may just kind of leave it to the comments and see what people say, what I should go with.
Take some
and go
notes
from
for
that
your
point.
next drink.
Yeah,
Good call.
see what the next drink's going to be.
So, Wendy?
So I went into my cellar again and found a Fat Abbott from Arbor Brewing Company. The date on this one is 2017, and I have to say it's still pretty delicious.
I can
Cool.
tell by the
Alright.
way why
Alright.
this can of, so I'm drinking Kingsville Barrel Aged Stout Wood Runner. Canadian beer. I could tell why it was discounted at the beer store, and that's because of obviously the many dents that I didn't notice. So I don't think the top off is going to work. Dan, what are you drinking? You still on your Abyss?
Still working on the 11-year-old Abyss.
That's
Going
right.
backwards,
That's
but
right. You were talking about how they had so many different beer. They had even older ones, didn't they? That you could only get there.
yeah, '07 through 2019, I think they had, and they had the variants too. Like they had the 2000, I think 15 cognac and the brandy barrel aged ones, that sort of thing.
Nice.
You
The
know, if
best
we have
one
you,
like this gone, but the 2008 was the best. That one's unfortunately gone. So I went to 2009, and this is a little harsh. Not even gonna lie.
if we keep you on the show, we're gonna have to contact them and start asking for some sponsorship money because we bring them up as much as we bring up Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester
true.
Hills,
Oh,
just south of
right.
M59 and Rochester Road.
Nice.
Jack is doing curbside only now.
You
Oh,
can't go
wow.
in.
Oh,
You cannot go in, so you have to place your order. He will take the beer out to your car. So head on over there, get some curbside beer. Nick, what are you drinking? You're the last one. The sun's not in your eyes anymore.
Nope, not anymore. Taking a page of our former co-host Matt's playbook. It's no White Claw, but I got a Truly.
hashtag shut up, Mike Bush.
I've got two 12-packs of Truly in my fridge. So
Ain't
I
nothing
got-
wrong with that.
Got Trulies and White Claws here, so yep, I'm just gonna drink whatever's in the fridge at this point.
I've been making sure to do my bike rides and tracking it using the map my ride so that obviously the government can know exactly where I'm riding.
Is that what you're doing?
Exactly, yeah. But making sure I'm tracking all that stuff to see how far I'm going. I want to try to do by the end of April. I want to at least do 100 miles of something. So biking, running, walking, etc. I just want to do 100 miles. It's a small goal, but it's a goal. It's a start.
It's a goal. It's a goal. Shit,
And
I
start
wanna run
to.
a 5K.
There you go. Me and Nick have run a 5K.
Yeah,
Get back to
and
that.
our buddy Chris tried to do a 5K, and he ended up
Breaking-
shattering
run
his
it?
leg.
Well,
It was,
it was an obstacle course, and Chris broke
Warrior
his
Dash.
ankle.
Oh Jesus!
He
Oh, I remember this. Are
he's
you talking
sep-
about Tough Mudder?
no Warrior
This
Dash.
is
I
Warrior
ran
Dash.
I ran
Oh,
Tough
Warrior
Mudder with our friend Idiot and his sister. So I ran
Is that his real name? Or?
Yeah, obviously.
so we
His real name's
have
Ryan.
his real name's Ryan, but we had like 3 Ryans in the group. So like each one had their own nickname. So his actual nickname is Munchie. So of course his sister is Munchette.
A little bit better
just-
than idiot.
quick shout out to her because she's
She's a
fighting
nurse,
on the front
yeah.
line. She's a nurse, so shout out to her.
Yeah, I think
So a quick question to you guys. Now, obviously, I've noticed that Wendy, you've broken up into the cellar. Dan, you've got a 2009 Abyss with
Yeah.
everything
that he
has
bought
been
like
going-
2 weeks ago.
No, I
about
bought
2
it like
weeks
2
ago.
hours
True.
ago.
for 2 hours ago. Okay. But I mean, with the stuff that is going on and the beers that we have, are you finding that you're going into the cellar and grabbing some of the older things that you have?
I personally have not. I grabbed that Weyerbacher Sunday Mole Stout or whatever last week.
I would say you put a picture on Facebook. You ain't got shit in your fridge.
Well, so that photo was 3 years ago, by the way. I didn't realize that I mentioned that it wasn't I'm like, oh, because I only simply mentioned that the Cocoa Shandy is still in there, and that Cocoa Shandy is still in there. But like, there is stuff from like Tallgrass, who went out of business in
Oh,
2008.
that sounds good.
So yeah, so that beer is still in there. I feel like there's going to be some type of bet between all of us that involves who's going to be drinking that beer, or we're just going to share it.
The Cocoa Shandy.
The 3-year-old Cocoa Shandy.
You made me take one sip of that once. I almost projectile vomited everywhere. That's never happening.
I think that the problem that I have is that I feel like with a lot of the beers that I have in the cellar that I would love to open and that they are, 2018s, I've got like, because obviously no rules day, the sale starts tomorrow. So I actually cracked open the 2018 rum variant or 2019 rum variant. I keep getting those mixed up. Um, I would say for those who are ordering tomorrow, if you're thinking about getting the 2018 rum variant, don't, because all of the flavors fall off unless you just want straight rum in an imperial stout and lose all of the cinnamon and coconut and sugar. Then go for it. But I feel like the rest of that fell off. But I feel like with everything that's going on, as much as I want to go into the older stuff that I've been saving for, group events and getting people together, that I want to dive into them just to have them because, with all this crap going on, it's kind of almost it's like, who the hell knows whether or not I'm going to actually be able to drink it.
The problem
when the
is
shit's going on.
with a lot of those beers is that a lot of those beers are shareable beers. They're
Yeah.
beers that are huge beers, large beers, so not only high ABV but high volume beers that you can't just crack open yourself. Or if you're cracking it open, you're drinking one and you're done.
Not true. Any beer is sessionable if you try. So
Damn right. That's our saying.
I don't agree with that 100%.
If you have the courage, have the courage and
agree
conviction,
with
you can make
Dan.
any beer a sessionable beer. I'm sorry, Wendy, go ahead.
So my problem is that I'm still working Monday through Friday. So my friends, I'm getting posts at lunch. I'm seeing they're posting the stuff that they're drinking during the day, and I'm kind of jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
what's
But
going on? Hold on. What's going on with
I'm
Nick
still
right
working,
now?
so I'm not.
He's having a light switch rave.
Not liking something.
What's funny is that all
trouble.
right, so I want you guys to look to Nick's right. So if you see Nick's right, yep, where your finger is, if you move it a little more to the right, you can actually see everyone in the window. So you can
That is
see
pretty
everything
sweet.
that's going on right now. Guys,
That's fine.
again,
Ken, his shadow.
facebook.com/betterondraft/live. You can check us out. You can join us live, just like Shauna in the chat is talking about how her husband loves Kolsch. And his favorite is Fra. The closest brewery that has a Kolsch is the Royal Oak Brewery because of the Kolsching Hour. Know of anything else close to that local? I believe Kalen's Kolsch is distroed from Ellison.
Oh, from Ellison, yeah.
So right off the top of my head, the first thing I would say is Kalen's Kolsch. Other than that, Kolsch's that are distroed within the area, I mean, that's a really hard beer that a lot of people don't do. You're better off looking at maybe a lager, like a Vienna lager, like Old Nation. Or,
Yep.
there's a lot more. Go on, Wendy.
Now, when I go to a brewery, a new brewery, because I like to travel to do that,
Yep.
even though I haven't been able to do that lately, I will try their Kolsch or their Hefeweizen every time because you can't hide the flaws in that. So if they have a good Kolsch or a Hef, they're doing something right.
Well, I know also Shorts does Kolsch 45 as opposed to Colt 45. I'm pretty sure that's another distroed beer. Other than that, I mean, Kolsch is not a very widely distroed style.
Isn't frequently that made anymore. Do a lot of breweries even?
Yeah,
Yes.
people are
They
making
make
Kolsch
it.
Yeah.
here.
They make
they'll.
it, but it always seems like
You
they're
can,
always
they're just
in
not
house.
distributing it.
Yeah, they're not they're not distributing it.
Shauna, keep an eye on Supernatural in Livonia because they have a Kolsch that is really well done. And I'm not sure if it's on right now. I haven't checked because I'm going to go tomorrow to pick up my curbside pickup. But check them out and batch when they come back. They have a Kolsch. It's fantastic.
And if Supernatural has any food, by all means, please order it because that shit is amazing.
Oh my God, their new chef is so good, Daniel Tiger.
Like,
I-
There's another
show?
tiger.
I
Daniel
wound up.
Tiger King.
So this is the first time I think I've ever eaten at Arbor Brewing. Mind you, I've worked at two out of the three Arbor Brewings, as well as all the fucking Bigaloras that opened. But I had, not only did we get the flatbread pizza, so not the Bigalora style, but the flatbread from Arbor, the carnitas fries, the burger, like everything that I ate today was fucking amazing. And just because I had so many extra pint glasses, not only did the driver get a 20% tip because it was free delivery, um, also got a pint glass from Better on Draft to take home.
Great
So
advertising. I like that.
Well done.
I mean, she wasn't good enough to get an ESG glass, but I know after all of this, we're probably going to be giving an ESG glass to Matt Wiles when we have Blake's on here.
Right.
One of the things that we talked about, and what we'll talk about for next year for March Draftness, is that there's going to be a lot of changes coming on for March Draftness. We're hoping to go to 128 breweries, cideries, and meaderies next year.
Wow.
Yes.
Crazy.
I mean, that means that I just got a lot of work ahead of me.
And I mean, for all of the breweries and brew pubs that are in the state of Michigan, that's still basically a third of what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever happens at the end of 2019 or 2020.
Yeah,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Let's get through 2020 first and see. I mean, unfortunately, there are going to be some rest and hops messages that are going to be coming out with the breweries, and it's going to suck with all
Hopefully
the shit
not.
that's going on. I want all of them to be able to survive and thrive in the areas that they're in, but the reality of what the situation is right now with everything that's going on, there's going to be the ones that don't make it, and it's going to be sad that to watch these neighborhood breweries fall off because of all of this shit that is going on.
Now, while we're doing our best to help pump money into the economy by buying alcohol for at-home take, alcohol sales are up 55% in the third week of March, according to data from Nielsen. Tequila, gin, and premixed cocktail experiences had the highest jump with an increase of 77%. Beer sales climbed 44%, while purchases of wine grew 66%. Online alcohol sales also saw a massive rise in popularity when compared to 2019. Online alcohol sales rose 243%.
Damn.
Because we stuck at home, we get fucked up.
Damn.
Now, there are a lot of people who are on furlough, who are laid off, who are stuck at home, who are working from home. And one of the things, now, have you guys, it looks like we lost Wendy, which is okay. She'll come back when she comes
She'll be
back.
back.
Have you guys ever worked from home before prior to this whole thing?
No.
I have been.
Not like this, no.
I have been since October, so my job allows me to do that. So it wasn't a change for me at least. But what are you getting to? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That's perfect, because I kind of want to ask you a question, because this will probably help Nick and Rob. What is something you can suggest to people who are now having to work from home, or that their whole lives have been changed because they are working from home, and it's a lot different?
Find activities, especially during breaks, during lunches, lift weights, go for a walk, something like that. It kills you just sitting here. Otherwise, you got to find something to do. So that's the biggest thing I can say you need to do. Don't just sit in front of your computer, because it turns into an all-day thing. You sit here working, you go watch TV, you come back, do something on the internet after work. It turns into just one thing you're doing continuously. It kind of wears on you really bad.
No,
Now
you're right, because I mean, there's a lot of now I think probably a lot of people that I have not mentioned out there that I am a huge anime fan, so I watch a lot of anime, and from doing work to then sitting at my computer and writing trivia questions and watching Hunter x Hunter or watching any type of other series that are out there, that I'm sitting in front of these computers for a while, and I love having a break of walking the dogs and getting out. So
you have it
definitely.
perfect too. Playing the guitar like you're doing, that's an amazing thing to do. As far as a good distraction, I love that.
So, when I think the working from home is a lot different every day than it is from working from home during this time, just because not only are we working from home, but we have a lot of time after that we're still at home. For me personally, like, as much as I've been working from home, these guys can attest for it, as well as every time I've come from the show. How many times have I literally flown home from another state, let alone probably Seattle or LA that morning to get to Detroit to be at the studio for our 7:00 show? Like, I'm flying all the time, but so we have this work from home. I'm working from a hotel. I might not be working every single day I'm out there, so then I have to set up my little office in my hotel. One of the things for me that I always found, so recently, obviously riding a bike, going for walks, getting outside, what I used to do all the time is that one, always put on pants. Like,
You don't always do this. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Have-
Why
At
is
least
that the-
shorts,
Why is
sweatpants,
that
something.
the first thing? Is what I want to know.
well, it's to get you in the mindset you're going to work. So secondly, like when I feel like I would be cooped up too much, and it's a little bit different in this time and age, but obviously as we're trying to support these communities and support these local restaurateurs that might still be open, get up. If you know a coffee shop's still open, go grab some coffee. Or you know what? Go for a car ride. Get out, because I've always found that if
Yeah.
you leave your house, even if you drive right back, like you go for a 4 mile right around the block and come back, you feel like you've gone out to work. It doesn't feel
I
like
agree
that
with
that.
you have
Yeah.
Yep.
like
Yeah.
rolled out of bed and rolled right to work. Like every single morning, like even if she doesn't have calls or anything like that, my girlfriend puts on makeup. She does her full morning routine as if she was going to work, and
It-
that gets her into a different mindset. And
It's interesting you bring that up, Ken, because being that I'm in energy, I'm in the utility industry. They basically took my job classification and said you are not allowed to go out in the field and do what you need to do in the field. We're basically stuck inside the office. There are times though that I need to go and see how far a customer's along building their building. Like a couple weeks ago when we were just in the beginning of work from home, we went out to the old Silverdome site. I just did a quick drive just to see what was going on over there. They're building
Still
that
something there?
The Amazon's building that there.
Oh, okay.
Where's that
Yeah.
drive-in theater at? Is that still going?
The drive-in screens are long gone now.
Oh no! They are not all long
They're
gone.
not.
There is
I know.
still the one at Fordham,
Oh.
Wyoming.
Oh no, I was talking about the Pontiac Silverdome site.
the Silverdome
It
screen.
did a very short-lived drive-in there
Yeah.
after the Silverdome closed.
Yeah. So, even if it's just like a 15, 20-minute drive just to get there, take a couple photos, and give the people that live on the west side an update as to how far along they're being building or whatever, it's, that hour out of the house makes all the difference in the world. So I agree with Ken. and
It
Dan.
does. So that's
Get out and just drive. Even, you might be risking breaking the law at this point. But,
Well, if you're not doing anything stupid, like you're not
Yeah.
just like the whole point is to make sure people aren't congregating in areas. Like one of the big things, like I'm a huge disc golfer, and people
Yes.
are like, hey, because the thing is that when you throw a disc, you throw it into the chains, and you hit. Obviously, if you have COVID, the chains now have COVID. So the next
Yep.
person that throws the disc into those chains. So there's a lot of precautions that a lot of people are taking for that. But for me, like my girlfriend and I, we go to, we play I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pokemon Go, but we
Yeah.
play the Harry Potter version of that called Wizards
Oh
Unite.
Lord.
Go
Oh,
fuck yourself,
Ken
Dan.
Wow.
I can kick people
Hardcore.
from this call, so it doesn't matter. But like that's how we do
It's
is
something
that
to do, Dan. Damn it! It's something to do.
All right.
it's part of a 5 mile bike ride that we've carved off where we go to this one spot where the Ypsilanti library is. We'll play a little bit and then we'll go home. So we make it around the thing, and that's what a lot of people are doing is that they're carving out with these social media VR games, etc., where you can get out and do things without necessarily leaving your car. Or we're on bikes. But again, we're still social distancing. We're still, practicing all that stuff. And for someone like me who potentially, I have a high risk partner. So as someone who has been to Seattle, Boston, New York, LA, all these places, all these hotbeds in the past,
Yeah.
3 months, like I was scared shitless because of the things that could potentially happen. But we took all the precautions. We did everything we needed to do. And because if I'm asymptomatic, nothing's going to happen, but there's no way she's asymptomatic. So getting these things done, going back to the main point, guys, just go out, do things. Even if Dan makes fun of you for playing Wizards Unite, go out and have fun. And
Go out and
walk your dog or something.
That's
walk
it. Walk the
exactly
dogs.
walk your dog. There's a bunch of shelters that need not necessarily for you to foster, but what we call them, and I think a few of you guys have seen it. They're called slumber parties. And what you can do is you can take a dog who usually spends every single night at a shelter and bring it up. There's a little dog.
There we go. Brought a dog.
Oh.
We're talking about dogs. Here
I,
we
st-
go.
There's
I
the
still
dog.
have a bite mark from your dog from New Year's Eve, by the
Are
way.
you serious?
Yes, sir. That's a scar for
You're
life.
so bad. God.
But you can take dogs out for walks from these shelter homes. You can take them for multiple nights. Like for me, as you guys saw last week, remember how I had the cat fight right behind me? Cats
Yep.
aren't on
Right.
even keel with each other yet. So,
Nope.
I can't do that. But here in a year or two, like we'll be able to bring a dog home for a couple days, bring it on walks, and be able to do things. So you guys can go to your local shelters and take dogs for, one, you could just take them for walks there, and that helps them out. But you could take them home for a night, and a lot of them give you food for the night. All you got to do is just grab one of your 1,000 paper or plastic bags from Kroger, Meyer, Giant Eagle, wherever the fuck you live. So, one of the
Do they have-
things.
Is it Ralph's out there in Phoenix?
Fries for the
Fries,
Kroger brand.
okay.
Yeah.
Fries, yes. Or Albertsons.
Albert.
Yeah, there's a few of those here too.
Yeah.
So here is this is kind of the question I want to ask you guys before we kind of wrap up for the night, because it's getting towards 9 o'clock. What is from the bar of your choice, the brewery of your choice, and Dan, obviously it could be from Michigan or Arizona, it could be from another state. What is the one thing that you wish you could just take home for you right now? That you could crack open tonight because they'll deliver it to you.
Ooh.
It could be a mixed cocktail like a JD's $3 Long Island.
Oh God.
I know that's. Oh, I hear a dog barking. That's the kind of thing is that. What is the one thing that you'll want? Like for me, like Kiesling over in Detroit makes so many good cocktails right now, and I would love just like a pint of one of their cocktails to where I could have a couple of drinks, feel good, and just go home. Like if you could get a pre-made cocktail in a can from a bar, a brewery, or beer. I mean, it could be a beer, but what is the thing that you wish you could have to end tonight? And while you guys
I'll
are
go.
thinking that, I'll
go.
okay,
got
Dan will go.
Rochester Mills Milkshake Stout. I would
Oh.
do anything to have that here right now.
Which one?
Yeah.
Just
There's
the
only about
regular one.
1,000
I
of
don't need a
them.
Just
variant.
a regular?
Yeah, don't need a variant or anything.
Did you finish all of the malt
The
liquors?
Abyss? Oh no, I still have one in my fridge. I haven't finished yet. Those are tough. You can't drink a lot of those. You don't want to drink that while you're
Oh,
drinking
every
stout,
beer is
so
a
it's not-
sessionable beer if you try
it
hard
is.
enough.
Oh, it
'Cause
is.
it's
Believe
true.
me. That's true. If I'm like, I'm just to drink malt liquor, I'm drinking 4 or 5, 6 of those. That's easy. But I'm drinking Abyss. I'm drinking White Russian. I don't want to switch to malt liquor right now.
What about you, Rob? What's a drink or a cocktail? Something that you want to take home right now.
A drink, a cocktail I want to take home right now. The thing is that the problem is that as far as the drink, it's not even something that's local, which annoys me because, well, no, it really doesn't, because I think if I was able to get it locally and have a shitload of it, that I would eventually get tired of it.
Well, no,
The
just something to
exception, of
drink for the
course-
night. Like, we talk about like what are you drinking for the rest of the night?
Something to drink for the rest of the night. I will never not be a fan of the coffee cider that comes from Ferndale Project, by way of Cellarman's. So that is always something. This the catcher's rye that I picked up, the single barrel catcher's rye that I picked up from Two James. This is definitely something that, if I was back in the practice of smoking cigars, that this would be something that I would love to just sit in the backyard with a fire pit with a cigar and just sip on and just be in the backyard till damn near the sun comes up, because this stuff is really smooth and really enjoyable. So
Nick,
that would be mine.
Sticking with the Rochester Mills bandwagon, I'm gonna go with Gypsy Goddess from Rochester Mills. Their radler.
wow, Yeah, I mean that's
now we're starting to get into spring. It's gonna start getting warmer in the 80s and 90s, unlike the 120 degrees in Phoenix.
It's a dry heat. It's a lot
Yeah,
different.
right.
It's dry.
It
It's
is.
dry.
My favorite, what I really enjoyed last summer, and I'm really gonna look forward to this summer, going to a concert at like a Freedom Hill or a Pine Knob and having one of those. And
that's
having
cute. He
multiple
thinks he's
others.
gonna go to a concert.
I was gonna
know.
say, hold on. Do you
Man,
think this is
don't
actually
it's gonna
even-
suck
happen?
so bad that we're not gonna
Because
be able to do that this summer.
I was
feel.
planning. A mutual friend of mine and Ken's and yours, Dick. We're going to a concert in August. I'm already assuming it's
If
just
they
not going to
cancel.
happen.
You were gonna come to July for my birthday for a concert.
Was
Which-
I? We probably
which-
talked about that. I probably just forgot. I was going to come in September too.
Which
but,
concert, Dan?
Faith No More and Corn is
Oh,
the one I was
gosh.
talking about in
That's it.
Texas.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
See, and I mean, as far as concerts, there's one. Obviously, I think I brought it up last week. Was Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machine that's coming here in July,
Yeah.
and my buddy Jason and I have tickets for that, and I'm hoping that does not get canceled because I've seen Rage Against the Machine already when Evil Empire came out, but I've never seen Run the Jewels, and I would love to see both of them, and I'm hoping when July comes or like when this situation ends that the concerts in July don't get affected by this.
I hope so because that Rage tour everyone's waiting for, and it
Mhm.
sold out here really fast. And if that gets canceled, people will just be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
It's
it was so
not just
fast.
reality though.
Yeah, it was so fast here that they added a second day while the ticket sales were still going on.
Oh wow.
Wendy, are you still there with us?
I know I'm confused. Oh, that's a still picture. I wasn't
here
sure if that
twice.
was like.
He's here twice.
Oh,
Oh, I
Hold
think
on.
your
Oh, no.
your audio's lagging pretty hard.
oh
I
wait.
know,
Oh.
man, I'm trying.
Oh, there we
There
are.
it goes.
There we are.
There you
Yeah,
go. We're getting
yeah,
a
it
little
was- it
echo
was-
from
it was
you.
still
You might
connecting.
want to. Here,
I'm
I'm
trying
gonna.
to get it down. There you go. I'm trying to get it down. There you go.
Yep,
She's back.
I'm trying. It's
back.
it's not letting me mute. Yeah, it's not letting me mute. Wendy, you're
I
You're
will make
doubling
my
up.
own-
Oh.
okay. We'll figure this out.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we only got 1 minute left. I honestly
I know.
can't find that show that you were going to come out for in Detroit because obviously after we talked about it, because we were talking about it with our friend Brian, Billy
Oh,
Joel.
it was probably Hammerfall. That's in September.
No, this is in July. This was on my
Oh.
literally on my birthday.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But apparently Billy Joel announced a show on my birthday in Comerica Park. So that's what's taking over every single post when I search my birthday and this. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are getting delayed and a lot of things are probably getting rescheduled. So who knows what the concert lineup is going to be like. Wendy, thank you so much for coming back. But it is 9 o'clock. We are going to call it over for Better on Draft episode 213. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for joining. Greg, Tito, Shauna, Samantha, trying to see who else. Bill.
Love you, Dina.
Dina also was in there earlier. Gypsy Goddess just went on tap at Rochester Mills today, Nick, just so you
Aw.
know.
Thanks, Tito. I appreciate
Copper
the
Hop
heads
was
up,
in there.
man.
Copper Hop was in there. Guys, that's going to do it for us. Better on Draft Podcast 213 in the books. We'll be back next week, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours. We're going to be talking about beer. We're going to be playing a game during segment 3, so hopefully you guys can join us live because you're going to be able to join this game. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
2 Dixons means peace.